At this point, everyone knows that using AI makes you dumber. Everyone's seen those studies, right? They study people who wrote an essay without ChatGPT, and then they study people who wrote the essay with ChatGPT. And every single time, the people who used ChatGPT to write their essay had less brain activity than the people who didn't. Thing is, everybody is using AI wrong in those studies. They're using AI to replace their thinking, to do all of the work for them, instead of using it as a tool to amplify their own abilities, their own decision-making process, their own thinking skills. People treat AI like it's a tool to replace their thinking and to offload their decision-making process entirely. And the problem is, AI can be used to do this. The reason it works, the reason people do it, is because it works. AI is good enough at coming up with things that sound good, that sound reasonable, that in a lot of instances, AI can be more reasonable than people. It can sound better, it can articulate its thoughts better than most people can. And so people use AI to replace their decision-making method, their decision-making process entirely. They lose the ability to write, they lose the ability to think, they lose the ability to make decisions without the input of AI. Instead of using AI to inform their decisions, to come up with different ways of looking at something, they just have AI make the decision for them. The thing is, AI is an amplifier. AI massively amplifies the amount of things that one person is capable of doing. But if someone uses AI to do everything for them, they're no better than the AI itself. If they're using AI to make decisions, if they're using AI to replace their thinking, they might as well just be AI. When people ask questions to ChatGPT and then paste back the response or say, here's what ChatGPT said, there's zero critical thinking going on inside of that person. None. They're not thinking. They're just regurgitating whatever AI told them. And obviously there's so many problems with that because most people have no idea what AI even is, but that's a separate discussion. The problem is 0 times 1,000, right, is still 0. The better you are, the better the AI is able to become. And the better you are, the more you're able to use AI to amplify what you're able to do, what you're capable of, the speed at which you can learn. The more that you have to work with, the more AI is able to amplify what you already have. But if you don't have anything, AI is not going to be able to do anything for you except replace you. And so many people are worried about AI taking their jobs. But the thing is, most people are right to be afraid because most people aren't going to be superior to AI because they don't think for themselves. There's no critical thinking going on. And when you have an AI telling you that everything you're doing is correct, everything you're doing is, the decisions that you're making are reasonable and rational, of course you're going to want to believe it at face value. That's where the term AI psychosis is coming from. It's so sycophantic. It sucks up to people so much. And part of the reason why people offload their decision-making process is because it feels good. It's telling them what they want to hear. And people don't want to challenge what they want to hear. They don't want to think through the things that they want to do. And they argue with AI until they get the answer that they want. If AI pushes back, then the person will push back until AI says the thing that they actually want the AI to say. So here's how you can use AI to actually think more instead of think less, and to think better instead of losing your ability to think altogether. The next time you ask AI for a recommendation, ask it why it recommended that. Ask it why it chose this instead of that. Ask why it chose this restaurant instead of that restaurant. Instead of asking AI for a recommendation, ask it for a pros and cons list and then make the decision yourself. Instead of asking AI on what to do, ask it for a bunch of ideas. Tell it the ideas you've already come up with, and then say, hey, I want some more ideas based off this. But don't let AI make the decisions for you. Use it to inform your own ability to make decisions. So if you're writing an essay and you want to use ChatGPT to help you write it, instead of just having ChatGPT write your essay, work with it for a little bit on what type of essay you want to write. Come up with a list of ideas. Once you've settled on an idea, write the first sentence yourself. And if you can't think of a second sentence, or if you're not sure if that first sentence is the correct one, then ask AI its thoughts on the first sentence. How could it be written better? It'll probably give you a recommendation on what to put instead of your first sentence. It'll probably give you an example. But instead of just copying that example and then writing that and replacing your first sentence, ask it why it chose that example and work through it. Once you understand the reasoning behind why it wrote the example that it did, why it decided to completely change your first sentence, once you understand the reasoning, that's when you can start using the suggestions that it gave you. But you need to understand it first. If you're just regurgitating whatever AI is recommending to you, there's zero critical thought going on there. You need to understand it. And obviously this applies to everything. This isn't just for essays. It's for building apps. It's for building websites. Why does the text go on the website here instead of there? Why is the text in this font instead of that font? Why did you choose these colors instead of those colors? What is the purpose of this app? What problem does this app solve? How is this app different from other apps? And another problem with AI is that it'll just make things up. And so you ask AI, Where are you getting this from? What sources are you citing? Is this claim up to date? Is this backed by the most recent studies, the most recent literature, the most recent research? And one of the cool benefits of using AI in this way, where you're challenging the outputs that it's producing, and you're working with it to try and understand why it's saying what it's saying, and pushing back on when it's agreeing with you instead of just blindly accepting it because it feels good, that's also one of the best ways to avoid AI psychosis. And I'll go into that in a different video. But I have a strong feeling that the new generation, the generation that's growing up with AI having never not existed, AI psychosis is probably going to become a clinical term, a medically acknowledged term with clear definitions and clear criteria, because it's going to become so rampant and so widespread. And the solution to that is literally just critically thinking, critical thought, thinking for yourself. And the other point there is critical, right? You're criticizing what the AI is doing. You're criticizing its decisions. You're asking it why it decided to make this recommendation instead of that one. Not only are you thinking, you're actively thinking. You're critically thinking. You're thinking, what are all the reasons why this might not be the case? What are the reasons why it might be the case? You're thinking critically about it. You're analyzing critically what it is the AI is spitting out at you. Even if the AI is telling you what you want to hear, if you're attacking it critically, you'll come up with so much more new information that you would have never come across if you just accepted what it said at face value. And maybe you might even come to a different decision. You might even realize that the thing that you thought you wanted isn't actually what you wanted. It's amazing what this thing is capable of. It's amazing what AI is capable of. But combining the two, whew, so much better than either one alone.